Coming up today on JBYC, I hate the beach.
Beachfront property is theft.
Final Fantasy XIV was an abysmal game that somehow became a really great game, and it has beaches in it, I guess.
All that and more on today's episode of JBYC. I did it. Of JBYC.
Jilted by your cat.
It's gonna be May.
Hey everyone, it's on Monday, May 6, 2019. I'm Bobby Frankenberger, and you're listening to episode 7 of JBYC. This is the show where the three people who've been friends for longer than any of us care to remember get together and talk about what's been on our minds in the past week. Every week we have a topic or a theme, and this week's theme is beaches. And that theme was chosen by you guys, our listeners, on our straw poll that we do every week. So you should look for that because it's fun. My name, as I said, was Bobby. Let me introduce my other co-hosts, and we'll get going. First up, as always, is Ryan. How's it going, Ryan?
Am I always first?
You are always first, yes.
I don't like this. I feel like we're having hierarchies starting to form.
Yeah, well,
my
fine.
topics are always
Tradition.
last now.
Fine, you can go
I'm an
now.
iconoclast, all right? I'm not into this whole traditional... I just wanted to say iconoclast. It makes me sound real smart if I say that.
It's a really good
right?
Yeah.
It's a good word.
There's a game that came out
Just
last
making
year
sure.
called Iconoclast. That's a good deal of game.
Yeah,
It's a band or a game?
a game. Dummy head.
Good deal.
We don't have bands anymore. I guess we just have games. And
No, we have bands too. I can talk about bands that came out last year too if you want.
Oh, yeah.
all right,
yeah.
what's a band that came out last year? I don't believe
Diet
you.
Sig. It's really good.
How many people are in the band?
I don't know.
If it's just one person and some
not one
turntables,
person.
that's not a band.
It's not turntables.
Okay. And it's not just one person and like a microphone? Or it's
No,
not two
there's other
turntables
people.
and a microphone?
Where
No, it's not
at.
Beck.
Yeah.
Is there a drummer? I'm purity testing your band.
Don't. Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
you know, it could be a robot drummer. It could just be an electric drum.
That would pass the
Sad
test.
girl
because-
music.
A drum machine. Sad gorilla music? Is that what you said?
Girl music.
Sad gorilla music.
Oh. Girl music.
gorillas-
What's
gorillas?
girl music?
What does that mean?
Female fronted of any style, which
Oh.
is mostly talking about sad events.
I thought it was
That
like.
term might be-
I thought it was like.
I thought you were like, it's a girl movie. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
there's kissing.
Ew! It's about
No.
love.
It's probably my favorite album of last year.
Yeah. Well, it's okay to like girl music.
You know where I like to listen to music is at the beach. Oh, by the way, I'm American Johnson. Thanks for watching. Okay, I'm transitioning though.
That's all.
Done with this.
Yeah.
The
Let's.
beach music.
Yeah, today's topic, today's interest, today's whatever
I
theme
love
is
beach
beaches.
music
And
every single day. Yeah.
but before we get too far into that, today's episode is brought to you by nobody because nobody sent us any emails, god damn it. You guys need to send us some emails.
Get it together.
Yeah, guys.
Come on, I got to get my ass up at 6:30
I have
in
an
the morning
email
every
that was
Tuesday.
sent to me
What?
just now.
What?
Uh-oh.
From Darth Vaden in the chat. Is
Oh,
American
nice.
a highly skilled martial artist?
I took a Sogo Gushindu, which is a form of karate, and I made it to yellow belt when I was 9 years old. And I took 2 months of weekly Taekwondo when I was at the Middlebury Intensive Korean Language Training Program in
Nice.
Oakland, California.
So
So,
did you
yes.
make it to black belt?
I did not
Just
make
told
any
us you did
belts.
not.
I only had 8 classes.
Yellow.
I only listen to what
But
you
I
guys
did
are
get
saying
to
when it's
help
time for me to talk.
I did get to help the Sunsei Nim. No, wait, we don't call him Sunsei Nim in Taekwondo. You call him not Sajang Nim. I don't remember.
This is a
What
real
was
good
that first thing you said? like
Sensei
the-
Nim just means teacher.
No. Like the first martial art you said.
Sogo
It was-
Gushindo.
This
Yeah,
sounds really
what is that?
impressive.
I don't know. I've never heard of it before or since. It was just this. It was in Hampton, South Carolina. It was this old guy. He had all these cool weapons and stuff. He made a lot of money, I think. He probably had about. I never thought about this until just now. Probably had about. It was like every kid in Hampton went to this karate dojo thing.
Do you remember
And
our
this guy-
college martial arts?
No, what?
When we used to play, like when we used
Sorta,
to make
kinda?
cardboard armor and fight with cardboard dowels, or are you talking about when
No.
we played laser tag, or are you talking about when we would?
When
Which
we would
one?
go to the gym and just mess around, and I asked you like, "What are you guys doing?" We're like, "Sorta, kinda, something." He's like,
man,
"Sorta,
you're
kinda."
right. We would go to the you remember this, EJ? We would go to the gym and we'd like reserve one of those rooms with all the mats on the floor, and we'd
The
just take
multi-purpose rooms.
we'd just take our shoes off and start beating the shite out of each other. It was
don't
like
think I
it was
got
like a
invited to
really
this. I don't remember
lame.
this.
It was
Or
like a
did I
really
just
lame
get,
fight
like-
club.
I don't remember this.
You were certainly
Sorta,
invited.
kinda.
I might have just declined. I might
mean,
have had
it
better
was
things
very-
to do.
Very dumb.
Yeah,
But you know what? I don't have better things to do than is to go to the beach.
yeah, exactly. You really want to talk about beaches, don't
Wow,
you?
you just
I'm just trying to keep us on track. That's all.
Yeah, thanks for
Time's ticking.
thanks for doing my job. I appreciate it. Let's get right to this.
Dang it, Bobby.
Nope, that's not loud enough. I do that more and more every time.
That's exactly.
That's me rewinding.
Dang it, Bobby. That's exactly what we don't want.
All right, so we're talking about beaches, but I really struggled this time because I was busy this week, but also because I hate the beach really badly, and and I didn't.
I don't get it.
What do you mean you don't get it?
You're Charleston. You're a
Yeah,
son
you know
of the-
what?
of the
And every
beach.
time I tell people I hate the beach, they're like, they're either from the inland, and they're like, but how could you hate the beach? Because you live right next to the
You know-
beach, and I would love to be able to go to the beach or
Can
they're
I guess? Let me guess.
what?
Let me guess. It's the sand. Oh, you get sand on your butt. Oh no.
Well,
Is that it?
yeah, I mean, sand is
Oh, no,
a
there's too many
well-
people. It's like the
sand.
is this going to be the same old beach rant?
Yes, it is going to be the same. I'm kind of an old man. We've established that, but sand is a big deal. But also, like there's there's other people, but it's people with towels, and that really pisses me off.
People with towels.
Yeah, fuck
piss
those
you
people.
off.
Well, I can't say that, can I? Like,
What are you
screw
talking
just
about?
did. It already came out.
those people.
What are you talking about?
You know, they're always
People with
carrying their towels filled with. That's the real problem. Is the towels are filled with sand, and they're carrying it around like a bunch of inconsiderate assholes.
Wait,
What are you talking about?
What's
I've
the
never
problem,
had a
though?
problem with a person having a towel. I've never been like,
You've never
angry at a person
never
for
been
having a towel.
around someone who picked up a towel on the beach. You've lived a you've lived
No, no.
a
I never
blessed
bring
life.
towels to the beach,
understand the
Bob. Believe it or
action.
not,
what?
I don't bring towels to the
Yeah,
beach.
pivot for a
I don't bring
second.
jack. I bring my wallet. I don't even bring my phone. I specifically don't bring my phone to the beach. I'm a beach minimalist. I bring
Okay.
sunscreen,
Sunscreen's
and
a
I'll
pain
bring a
in the
little
ass, too.
bag to put my wallet and my sunscreen in.
So you're
And I
both
bring- and I-
crazy people. Cool.
No, you don't need to. You don't need all this stuff to go to the
You can-
beach.
hold
When I was
on,
a kid,
back-
we always
Towel
brought all
is
this-
pretty fucking.
Back
Like, a
this
towel's an essential thing.
Back to
No,
train up
it's
though.
hot.
It is essential, but you cannot tell me you've never been around someone who picked up their towel and flung sand all over you.
Never
and-
happened to me. I stay away from people at the beach. I
Well,
keep my
that's a
distance.
smart
Listen,
thing to do.
Yeah, look, you got the wrong strategy. Like when I was a kid, when we went out to the beach with my family, we brought all this stuff. I brought a cooler and a bunch of folding chairs and towels and food and drinks and all this stuff. It was a nightmare, and I do hate sand. All right, I hate sand in my crevices, and I hate sand anywhere on my body. I hate it. Right.
Right.
So I've learned you just don't bring all this stuff. You don't bring towels. If you bring a towel to the beach, it's going to get sandy. If you go to the beach without a towel, you go for a swim, you get out of the water, and guess what? You dry off. You don't need a towel. It's not like you're in the freaking bathroom and you don't want to drip water all over. It's sand. You drip the water on the sand.
Where do I put my
You drip dry.
Where do I put my sandwich? Not on the sand.
Why do you need a sandwich? I don't know. Get this beach.
I'm having a
picnic.
nice
The beach is
time
a
at the
terrible place for a
beach.
picnic. You might bring a couple of beers. That's it. And you can't even do that in America. So scratch that idea in America. Land of the free. But here in Vietnam, where we still have
What are you
our
talking
freedom,
about? I bring
I'll bring my
beers
beers
to the beach.
You can't bring beers to Isle of Palm. No alcohol. Ever since a bunch of frat boys beat a cop with some wiffle bats, and that's a real story. You think I'm joking, but that's actually why they banned alcohol.
Sadly,
in
I know
Iowa
the
Falls.
story you're talking about.
It's not sad. It's awesome.
It's
Hey,
no. What I'm saying is, sadly, I know that caused the anyway. Sunscreen's a pain in the ass.
Injustice.
Right? And okay, inexplicable exhaustion is another reason that I hate the beach, because you go and you're like hanging out in the water and not doing goddamn anything, but then
You swim.
you're done with the
I think it's
beach.
the sun.
All right,
Done with the
look,
being in
beach,
the
and
sun.
you can't do anything the rest of the day because you're so tired.
You can go to a restaurant and get a nice lunch since you didn't bring a sandwich like a ding dong.
Yeah, what am I, rich?
And
What
get
if I
a
brought a ding dong.
Oh, that's the other thing. Well, okay. You know what? I might agree a bit that the beaches. Well, we'll get to this.
Yeah.
I have a whole thing about the beaches in America, but the beaches in America are they've been ruined. They've been ruined. Let's put it that way.
And the water is not
but-
relaxing. People like to think it is, but it's not. It just kind of, you get into the water and you pretend like you're going to be lulled into this like almost relaxed
What?
state, and then the
I
water
don't go
just
to the beach to relax.
smacks you in the face, or like you're walking
You go
into the
to
water and
go
it
into
hits you in
water
the
to
nuts.
Play. It's a place to play.
Plays
play.
relaxing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, look, like if you want to float around, you go to the swimming pool, and I do like to relax in the swimming pool. But you're not going to float around in a freaking surf. Come on, you're acting like an amateur, Bob. You're acting like you don't.
You know, I'm
anything
starting
about beaches.
to actually. I'm gonna real talk. I actually am starting to realize after hearing you talk, EJ, that my problem really might be a problem of expectations.
I think so. I think you need to
Go
go to the
on.
swimming pool. You
Well-
just need to go to the swimming pool.
Well, what's your ideal beach situation?
So I have
Bobby?
enjoyed myself at the beach one time. All right.
Okay, what was this perfect time?
We don't need to hear about like how your children were conceived, Bobby.
No, it was. I enjoy going to the beach if I'm going to be like in a beach house that's on like a private section of the beach where there's no other people and I can go out into the water, do minimally anything I want, and then come back to the relaxing confines of a covered walkway with a shower and the beach has made minimal impact.
Like a glam beacher.
And
I would like for there to be a red carpet rolled out from my private shower to the ocean. I shall enjoy the ocean's warm embrace.
One time
briefly.
I went running on the beach, and I thought that was going to be cool. You know, you see all these movies all the time where people
I
are
love
running
running.
on the
Not
beach.
at all.
Well, I enjoy running a lot.
You go barefoot.
Yeah. I enjoy running a lot, and I was enjoying it at first because I was like, oh, this is like, you know, it was kind of in my peak running. I've been falling off the wagon a little bit lately, but my peak. So it was like a challenge, you know. So because
It really works those little muscles down in like the bottom of your leg, you know.
But then there was this
part.
part. There was this part of the beach that we got to, or that I got to, and there was like, I don't know how to explain it, but all the way across, like from the sand dunes, which sand dunes are another pain in the ass, by the way, because you're just made to feel guilty about wanting to play on the sand dunes. But that's beside the point.
That sounds really personal. I've never.
There's this like chasm all the way from filled with rocks, and it was really wide all the way up the sand dunes, all the way down with this like rushing water going into and from the. I don't know. There was like a bunch
All right,
of.
this is like a way too specific story for you to make it as a general complaint.
No.
against-
I'm just telling a story now. So I went and I was running, and I couldn't like jump over or through or whatever. So I had to go inland, all the way around through this like private neighborhood community fenced in. Like I had to go like circle this area for like another mile and a half just to get to the other side of this thing. It was a real pain in the.
This is what I'm going to talk about today. So
Well, you know what? Enough about my complaining. Why don't we just get to it?
I never heard
yeah,
your
I've
perfect
solved your
beach.
problem.
Yeah.
I've solved your. Next time, here's my advice to you.
Also,
Bob.
no, American just was like a little jerk the whole time.
Yeah.
No. I'm telling you,
He was
I'm your beach counselor.
Yeah,
I
he was.
heard you
tough
with my
beach
ear
love.
holes.
He was giving me tough.
It's
Yeah,
tough
he was giving me
beach love.
tough beat because he's right. I think he's right. I've set my
No.
expectations too high for the
You're
beach.
both wrong.
I need to go in thinking like every time I go to the beach, I'm like,
Well, hold on.
this
we
is the
haven't heard out
time.
Ryan.
This is the
Ryan,
time I'm
do
really
you
gonna
hate or
love.
love beaches.
Beaches are fine. They're just a thing that you go to and you expect. Like Bobby said, there's an expectation there.
What did you
don't go
expect?
to like Isle of Palms. You go to
Yeah.
Folly. You go to like a lake.
You don't go to the beach.
Well,
That's the answer. You go to
I
a
would
lake.
argue that a lake
There's
is not a
beaches
beach. That would
on
be a
lakes.
shore. They're shores.
Well,
That's
whatever.
true. That's true.
Nah,
You're right.
nah, it's sandy.
You can have a sandy shore at a lake, but it's not a beach.
What is? Let's see. Hold
just
on.
a
You guys keep
personal-
talking. We're gonna find out what.
You're gonna look that up.
Yeah.
There probably
The
is
Great
a
Lakes might
difference,
have.
but Great Lakes are terrifying.
They might have
I've been
beaches. I mean,
on Michigan.
I'm checking the
No,
Oxford
like,
English Dictionary because that's the
it's the same
only
thing.
true dictionary source. Um, it's a
Edmund Fitzgerald
beach.
crashed on the Great Lakes.
Beach, noun, a pebbly, I can't read
Mm-hmm.
it, a pebbly or sandy shore, especially by the sea between high and low water
but
marks.
know what?
especially.
I just saw in the chat Samwise Gamgee. Great work, by the way, with the whole ring.
Yeah.
Asked, are the Great Lakes lakes or is it an inland sea? And I've never thought about that. And I'm like, now I'm
They are
considering it.
very
And I'm like,
big.
they're just seas, aren't they?
I
Why do we
mean,
have
I
to?
guess
Why do we have to
effectively.
be silly about it?
I mean, 'cause
They're
it's
just
the same thing.
Isn't it just a sea? Come on.
Is
a big
they're
lake.
like
A sea's
aren't
a
they
big
all
lake.
like one lake? Hold on, I gotta look
No.
at this picture.
They,
Great
they,
Lakes.
they, no.
we need to dive deep here. What's the size comparison of the Great Lakes to the like Dead Sea?
I don't know how to look that
right.
up.
Academy has a
I
good
know how to look
point.
that up.
They're
Wikipedia.
fresh water.
What's the greatest of the
they're
Great
fresh
Lakes?
water. Does that count?
Oh,
Does
so it
that-
can't be. That's a. Come on, who comes up with this crap?
Geologist.
You can't have a saltwater lake.
Did you say the same thing right then, Bobby?
Yeah. I think there
Okay.
are saltwater lakes. What about Salt Lake City? That was a lake.
Yeah.
Lake.
It's a lake of
City,
salt.
Bobby,
It's a lake of
okay?
nothing but
It's not a
salt.
lake.
You're right.
It's named after the Great Lakes of salt.
Yeah, there's a salt lake.
Is it?
Salt Lake. I don't
Do
know.
you know
but
that for
probably.
a fact, or you
I'm
just
guessing.
saying?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're
It's
guessing.
an estimated. It's a estimation.
I don't know. I'm doing
know
my.
anything
I'm
about
gonna do my
SLC.
job here.
You know, kind of a share.
EJ, you keep telling us all about what you want to talk about, but you don't actually talk about it. So
All right. Well,
what's your?
you
what's-
ready then?
So
I wanted
hate
to give everyone an
I
opportunity.
hate beaches for one reason, but I get the feeling that you don't hate beaches. You love beaches, and that makes you want to hate something else.
I hate a lot of things, Bob. Don't worry about that. I will share it. So here's my
He's
thing.
really salty
okay?
right now.
I'm going to start with a story.
This is the
just
salt
like you
cast.
did. No,
Oh,
you
get
ended
it?
with a story.
Beaches, salt
I'm going to
cast.
start with a story.
Okay, sorry.
All right. So, okay. When I was a kid, I loved going to the beach all the time. When I was in high school, young man, just starting out in life. Wanted to be I wasn't a super active kid. I spent a lot of time on the computer. I watched a lot of TV. I read a lot of books. I did not. We played role playing games a lot and that kind of stuff. But I was not super active, right?
Right.
One thing that I did love to do that was a healthy, active activity was go to the beach, run around, swim, play. Right? Great thing for all young people to do. But going to the beach in Charleston, South Carolina is a fiasco, and it's expensive because you have to there's only two beaches, and you have to pay for parking, I believe at both of them, always have. And there's very limited parking. There's this one, if you go to Isle of Palms, right, which is the closest beach to where we lived, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. And you have this little tiny parking area. It costs and I'm saying back in the late 90s, early 2000s, it used to cost $5 an hour to park. I have no idea what it costs now. It was very, very expensive to park there, right? But then
Yeah.
what do you have right next to this little public parking area? You have miles of privately owned beachfront property with no parking signs. And if you park there, they tow you instantly. They'll find your ass in a heartbeat. Because I know I played fast and loose with that a few times. And I'm like, oh, well, these people look like they've been out of town. I'll just park in there. But no, because other people, the neighbors will call you and stuff. They don't want anybody parking anywhere except that public parking area where you pay $1 billion an hour to park.
It's about the HOAs. It's about maintaining value in your property.
In your property, which is what we're getting to, right? So fast forward to about 5 years ago, the first time I went to this place called Mui in Vietnam, communist, socialist-ass Vietnam, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the best beach I ever went to in my entire life. It was totally quiet. It's like a little fishing village, but they have this long, beautiful beach, and you could walk around. It's very cool, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful beach, and I loved it. And then fast forward again to about a year ago, And Luna and I, Luna's my partner, comrade in life person, and we were going to go to the beach. And I was like, we need to go to Muine. It's very nice. So we went to Muine. And since then, at that time, they have, like, resorts have bought off the entire beachfront. And if you walk, like, this is true. If you walk through, you can't walk through them. They'll have, like, security guards, and they will not let you walk through to get to the beach. You have to walk, like, from the main strip, like, where all the shops and stuff are. There's, like, 2 places to access the beach, and they're, like, 4 or 5 kilometers away from each other, which is, like, 2 miles. And there's no other way to access the beach because they've just bought off all this property, even here in socialist Vietnam. So, all this to say, private property is theft. The beach belongs to everybody. If a young person wants to go for a swim, they shouldn't have to pay $20 to park. They shouldn't have to get their freaking car towed. It's an abomination.
Yeah,
and we need to abolish all private property.
You know, a lot of my hate of the beach has a lot to do with that walk back to the car too. No, I'm not joking.
No, you're right.
I mean, I guess it's
now,
funny, but
hold on. Now, I'm
You're
not
not
saying that
joking,
we
I'm
should
just
have like a
laughing at
parking
you.
lot on the beach, though. My point isn't that we should have a parking lot on the beach.
oh, okay.
I mean, but they should
Never
have maybe like, I mean, that gets us into like public transportation and that sort of thing. But they do have, I mean, if you're going to have like this long road, like at the Isle of Palms, the way it works is there's this long road that goes right along the beach.
Sure.
And nobody's allowed to park there except for those freaking super wealthy people who own the beachfront property. So if they're going to have that anyway, they might as well let people park there. I mean, we used to have a house on next to the soccer stadium, and people parked in front of our house all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we didn't have signs saying you couldn't park
We
there.
did have signs.
But we also,
I
I
don't
mean,
remember we
to
having
be
signs.
to be fair, we also complained about it constantly and talked about how we were going to get them towed.
Well, all right, but here's the thing. It was bad organization.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's
All of it's
advocate
bad
with you here.
organization.
I'm going to play devil's advocate with you.
No.
Let's
Okay, go for
let's say I'm at one of those houses and I need to go to work. Do people at beach houses even work? Really?
Just assume. Doesn't matter.
But let's say I need to go to work.
You get your car out of your car park.
Well,
but
look,
some
I'm gonna
beach
cut
bum
you right off 'cause
surfer
I know what
dude.
you're saying.
Okay.
You shouldn't be allowed to own beachfront property.
Oh, the bomb just got dropped.
The beach. Okay, look. I don't even like. I'm an anarchist. I don't even think you should be like private property to me is theft, and that's kind of why it's like this is my Trojan horse.
Okay.
Private property is theft, and I want to talk about that with you two because I want to know your thoughts. Because here's my little case. I'll lay it out for you. Let's just take the beach as I think the beach is a really great example
Okay.
because it's very like cut and dry. The beach is a very limited resource. There are not a lot of beaches on this planet, right? I mean, I'm talking about like a nice sandy, like enjoyable beach, right?
Sure.
Very limited resource. So when you wall, and I know that you can walk on the beach in South, but the point is access.
Actually,
Access is
if we
very
want to get technical, I
important.
think mathematically there's infinite amount of beach, but continue. I'm being
Are you talking? Well, there's a difference between a
No, it has
beach and
to
a
be
shoreline.
Pebbly and sandy.
Yeah, it has to have sand.
No,
Otherwise, it's
I'm
just a
saying
shore.
I'm talking about
We
I'm
pebbles
talking about
also.
fractals. Keep going.
No one wants to talk about your Mandelbrot beaches, okay? All right, so that's the only thing I know about fractals is Mandelbrot. So I had to just say that word so
Got
I
it.
could sound smart. All
Thank
right,
you.
that's my thing. All right,
Good.
I got to sound
Got
smart
it.
even though I'm not.
You're-
Okay,
You're real smart.
so like, all right, who owned the beaches first? Who were the first people to own the beaches?
The kid.
And no, I'm not talking about Native Americans. It's not a trick question. Before the Native Americans, who owned the beach?
Just answer the question since you have
God,
an answer.
I don't know.
Nobody owned the beaches.
Oh,
which means
okay,
everybody owns the beaches, right?
Right.
It's like the air. Nobody owns the air, so everybody owns the air. It's like it sounds paradoxical, but it's like if nobody claims something, then it belongs to everybody, right? Are you following me? And does that do you concede that?
Follow the logic. I don't know if it's necessarily true, but I agree with it. But I don't know if you can just say that.
Like who owns the air that we breathe
Right.
on this planet?
But then once we start owning stuff, then someone owns it.
And how do we start owning stuff? You're helping me out, Ryan.
I don't
You're going right where I was going to go.
I don't like being led by the nose to get.
I'll
to
do
a
it
point.
No, I'm not leading you. I'm not leading you by the nose. I'm saying you're just. I was about to say what you said.
No, yeah,
I'm
it's
not
an
saying
it's an
it's not
illustrative
you.
it's an illustrative question. Yeah, so it's not something's not owned. Yeah, I agree.
How do people start owning things? How did people originally start owning things like land?
They seize it. I guess they have to just
Yes,
take it.
They
through
put a
violence.
house
Yes.
on it. That's what they do.
Well, okay, so that's
Originally,
different. So that's like
sedentary like lifestyles become the thing. So we start planting crops. We start doing crop
Okay.
rotations. And we have
Yeah.
cities. Then we have commerce. Then we have capitalism and all the rest of the things that end up having the problems that you're
well,
talking
you skipped
about.
like all the violence though. You
Yes,
just kinda
I
glossed
know,
over all the
because if we
violence.
talk about that, we're talking about it forever. But like the original ownership is not necessarily the violence; it's just stopping somewhere nice.
Right. You're
Okay,
instead of
that's fair. That's-
seizing, the nicer way to say that would be there's someone stakes a claim
there's
to
lots of season.
well,
I'm just talking
sure,
about
sure.
the original.
So maybe
ownership.
like the very, very first people
Yeah.
that found the beach were like, okay, but like, all right, so maybe somebody, yeah, okay, so originally, and that's what the thing, like access, like use, I think justifies like occupation. Like you can occupy the space while you're using it, but why should like a person in freaking, and this happens a lot, why should a person in California, all the way on the other side of the United States of America, be allowed to own a beachfront property in Charleston, South Carolina that they literally have never been to? Or a corporation even.
right?
Like what's the
fine,
justification
but, like,
for that?
Right. Okay.
Oh, they
Yeah.
paid for it.
So, but I get what you're saying. But I mean, I could easily concede
Paid
that
for it.
you should only. Okay. So hypothetically, I could still say you should only own property that you reside on. Is that acceptable?
Yeah, I mean, if you just told me that, and that's not really ownership though, because as soon as you vacate, you're not.
But
possessing it.
while I'm on it, should people be allowed to park in front of my driveway so that I
No,
can't?
you should have. I mean, you should have like reasonable, privacy and that sort of thing. Of course.
So, but what if I wanna? What if I need to? Oh, I'm about to open a can of worms. So Ryan, stop
Open
us.
it.
Ryan, stop us if we
I
get
would
out
have
of
stopped
control.
you guys like 10 minutes ago if I had a choice.
But because I think this is I'm walking into something dangerous here. But so what if I want to start a business, and that business,
Okay.
I need a storefront for that
on.
business. Yeah. Oh, a business, eh?
Let me get my rope so I can pull the basket.
Need a guillotine, yeah.
So I've got a business, and I need somewhere to put that business, but I don't reside there. Do I have to, like
All
what's?
right, let's not use the business as an example. Okay, well, let's just say it's a worker-owned co-op. All right, because I don't want to get too into the weeds. Let's say you
sure.
want to have a
I
worker-owned co-op.
appreciate you helping me out here.
If the premises is being used for productive work, then again, obviously you would have like reasonable access and claim to that area, to that resource. But here's the thing, like, what if your worker-owned co-op or whatever is this like highly polluting, toxic industrial center, right?
Yeah.
The way it works in the United States of America
would
is
be.
like there are like some regulations as far as like, whatever, like there are regulations or whatever, but basically the way it works is you pay money for this land and you can do whatever the hell you want with it.
Right, but it doesn't have to be
Within
that
some
way.
very loose parameters, but like there's nothing to stop, and it happens all the time, Like there's like a little quiet neighborhood, big factory opens up right next to it, and now they've got like the smell, and I mean, you've driven over that giant bridge and over what is that, Ashley River or whatever, where they have that paper mill that's been there for
Yeah,
30
you're talking
years.
about in South Carolina, yeah, around Charleston. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole, I mean, for miles and miles and miles around, it smells like ass. Nobody ever gave, I mean, like, and that was 30 years, that was decades ago that got all situated.
Yes.
And the people who live there today, they have like no say in it. It should be a community decision what we do with resources that are public, which I would consider, like, for instance, beaches in particular. We could split hairs about private property ownership. I guess that's too big of a discussion for this one topic. But like the beach specifically, absolutely is a public resource.
So arguably, to use your paper mill example, arguably that was some sort of a community decision. Like the city or the county had to decide to do that, and they have elected officials, right? Like those people are supposed to be making those decisions in the best interest of their constituents, and so there was a decision that was made there. It might even have gone up for a vote. I don't know about in this specific example, but So maybe it was a community decision. So how do we deal with that?
The point is that it shouldn't. The point is that no corporation or individual should ever be able to own a beach or the access to a beach.
Right, but what? Okay, so let's let's try to draw a circle around this, yeah, because we're getting all over the place. What is it specifically
I'm trying
about
to keep
the
it
beach?
confined to beaches now.
Yeah. So what is it specifically about the beach? Yeah, because now we're talking about like paper
Again,
mills
a beach is a limited resource that benefits the public, and how can a person own a beach? Okay, so like the way it works in Korea.
Yeah.
Okay. In Korea, like the rivers and the beaches belong to like everybody, right? And it's a really wonderful thing. I took 2 bicycle trips all the way from Seoul to Busan. It's a 6-day bicycle trip across the whole South Korea, and it's all along the rivers. And literally, the river is absolutely publicly owned, and public access is guaranteed. And so, like, even if there's a farm, and there were a lot of farms and stuff along the beaches, nobody can stop you from walking up to the river and like camping there or doing whatever you want, as long as you follow the laws and clean up and all that kind of stuff, right? It's totally like public access is guaranteed. There's only like 3 or 4 places I went where you couldn't go right up to the river no matter where you were, and they were like it was like a power plant, and there was like a hydroelectric plant, stuff like that. You know,
for like safety reasons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And guess what? And I would walk right by the farmers. You know, there'd be like an old farmer, and he'd be like farming his crops, and I would just walk by, and he'd wave.
I mean, I can get behind that.
You know?
I feel like you're right that's like the beach, waterways even are a public good, so to speak. You know, like they serve a public good, and even even in the U.S. like national and state parks aren't even really like they're protected, but they're not even really completely 100%. You can't walk up to one in a way that you're describing.
Right. But then in the UK, like they have what do you call them? Rambling rights, which people fought really hard for a long time and went to jail for and like rioted over. But in the UK, basically anywhere you want to go,
rambling
you can walk
rights?
there.
I don't want to make a joke.
So okay, there's this. It's like a pastime in the UK. It's like hiking. It's hiking.
Okay.
But you just walk around England. They call it rambling. And I think back in I can't remember the dates specifically, but like a long time ago, around 100 years ago, the private landowners, you know, all these nobles and all the aristocrats and stuff, they wanted to they wanted to prevent people from rambling through their town, or not their town, their land, because they'd have these huge estates, like you know, they're literally aristocrats, so they have these gigantic estates.
Oh, I'm gonna learn.
And,
I know all about it, and I'm gonna learn all about it because I'm about to go on my 10-year anniversary here to the Biltmore Estates.
Is that in? That's
North
in
Carolina?
That's not in the UK.
That's in North Carolina, no,
North
but it's literally you go on
Oh,
vacation
you're gonna learn
there.
about estates.
Yeah, literally you go on vacation there just because it's just to see this long dead dude's gigantic expensive house.
And go on
You went for your
segways.
honeymoon, huh?
Yeah. Well, that's where we went on our honeymoon. Yeah, that's why we're going back for our 10-year anniversary. I'm diverting us.
I'm a romantic soul.
You're
I
a
remember
good
things
friend.
like that. I am. So anyway, about property rights. So basically, long story short, they were trying to cut off access to this stuff, but these ramblers were like literally like a lot of them were actually like anarchist, like activists, and they put up a huge fight and they fought really hard for a long time. A lot of them went to prison. They would do like direct action where they'd be like, screw you, I'm gonna walk through your land whether you like it or not, and the police would come and arrest them, and they'd fight with the police. They'd go to jail, but they fought for a long time. There's even these songs, like they have like these like rambler like anthems and stuff that they
Is
sing.
that what Ramble On is all about? Ramble on, Ramble on.
Yeah, that's an anarchist ramblers anthem.
Lord, I'm a rambling man. Yeah.
Oh, I was
trying to make a
born a
living.
ramble. You're right. Okay. Oh man, this opens up a whole like.
I'm a rambler, I'm a gambler, I'm a long way from home. Okay,
Wow.
but anyway,
That's a different
so
one.
they
That's a
won.
classic
They
rock.
won this rambling rights thing in the UK. So now basically, you can walk wherever you want to walk in the UK. I mean, I'm probably getting some of the details wrong. I'm
You
sure
can
they have
ramble on.
regulations.
I get it. I get it.
But there are people who come from around the world to go through the beautiful mountainsides of the UK. I mean, it's like a big part of people's lives, and people's lives are greatly enriched. by having this free access. And who does it hurt? Who does it really hurt? You have to be pretty paranoid to be like, well, what if they... We're not talking about like your backyard, in your suburb.
Yeah.
Your like 40-foot backyard. We're talking about an enormous... It's just like the beachfront. We're talking about enormous land that has a lot of recreational and therapeutic value for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that the beach is very similar because like everybody, like humans are attracted to water. We love the water. We love to go swimming. We love to go. It's like a family recreational.
Yeah. I mean, I do keep going back to the beach despite hating it so much.
Well, your kids probably love the beach, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless they're like their father, which I would really...
No, they like it, and I keep my mouth shut because I don't want to ruin their lives too.
So it's a public resource. It's a public resource. And
I
it should
agree.
be communally, publicly owned.
I think I agree.
And
agree.
Access should not be limited.
Yeah. There's all this private and public beach stuff that's weird, and I agree. It also forces like so many people. That's one of the reasons that beaches are so damn crowded all the time. The public ones. I agree. Before we move on, I have to give credit to Cadme in the chat. They were talking about like land rights and needing land for the resources it provides and everything. And Cadme said my favorite thing so far in the chat today, which was, "We cannot live by beaches alone."
That's right. I don't wait. What is that? Is that an insult against beaches?
No. It was a joke. Never mind.
You trying to pick a fight with beaches, Cadme?
Yeah. What do you got? What can't live by? Got it. Let's.
I can live by a beach alone. I get all I need is by my beach and by my spear gun.
Oh God.
Watch me live.
Here we go.
Watch me live.
Everybody, do the robot.
Oh man! After that, what a
that quiz that we've never done.
that quiz in the notes that links to a quiz that we've already done.
It says don't click it.
Yeah. Let's see. What is the quiz?
I have not clicked it this whole time.
Let me. I don't remember what this quiz is. Oh, it was the quiz was 7 search engines that rocked before Google even existed. What was I thinking?
I can do that.
All right, let's do it real fast. I like this. I didn't plan this, but let's.
It just washed up on the shore of our show.
Yeah. Oh man, I see what you did there. Let's play this.
Pretty good, huh?
Here we go. That'll be
The eels in the Little Mermaid are called Flotsam and Jetsam.
Oh yeah. All right. Okay. So that music's too loud. Let's switch to a different one like this. Nope. How about this? No. Let's do. This is good podcasting, guys. This. There we go. I like this one. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. EJ and Ryan, you guys are gonna take turns guessing from the height of the web of the 90s. There were lots of different during the internet
Quote,
bubble
unquote, search engines.
Yeah, it says here, though the web became quickly publicly available in 1990, the first web search engine didn't arrive until 1993. Up until then, all the websites were manually tracked and indexed by people. It's
not spiders.
I can't even. Oh, I think there were spiders involved. So here's what I want you guys to do. Take turns. See if you can remember the name of a search engine from the 90s. There are 7 of them listed here, and the first one who can't remember one or guesses one wrong, then we'll call the other person the winner. You guys ready?
I would like to say it at the same time because I think you're going to say the same one.
Oh, you don't know. You don't know how many websites.
Well, that's why I like him to say 3, 2, 1, and then we say it at the same time.
All right. You want me to do that?
Okay. All right. That's fine.
All right. Here we
Yeah.
go.
But this counts also for one guess for each of us.
Sure.
Even if we both get it.
All right. Ready? 3,
Okay.
2, 1.
SG.
Alta Vista.
Ah.
All right, you just knocked down knocked 2 of them off, and I'm gonna say Ryan has to go next because due to lag, he ended up going first. So, but let's not glide through that. So the first thing that Ryan said was Ask Jeeves, and of course, Ask Jeeves was one of them. It says 1996. This engine was unique due to its question and answer format. Plus, it had a memorable mascot in Jeeves the Butler. That should have been a follow-up question. What was Ask Jeeves' mascot?
I could do the mascots for all of them too.
What was Alta Vista's mascot then?
a mountain?
It was a mountain. 1995. This was one of the most popular search engines in the 90s, but was acquired by. Oh, don't say. No, that's not on this list because it still
It's not
exists.
like Netscape or something.
No. Well, it is on this list. So I won't say. So the next one, it's you now, Ryan. See if you can come up with another one.
Dogpile?
Dogpile was 1996. It has a terrible brand name, but maybe that's what made it memorable. That's right. Today,
Is that your
Dogpile
copy?
aggregates results from Google. They cheat. But
It's weird how some of these still exist.
yeah, Dogpile was one of them. All right, EJ, you're up.
Lycos, which was also mascoted by a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Lycos, go get it.
That's right. Lycos, 1994, born out of the Carnegie Mellon University and still alive today. Also owns several
dog's still
other
alive?
nostalgic
He's
internet
not still
brands.
alive. I would be shocked if that dog is
Lycos
still alive.
owns Angel
That
Fire,
dog's dead.
Tripod.
American
Gar-
cartoon dogs don't die. Like,
It
some
wasn't
cartoon dogs
real
do
dog.
die and go to heaven, but
This
that
is a real
cartoon
dog. You remember the commercials? They would just throw a frisbee and they'd be like, Lycos, go get it.
Actually,
Also, Dogpile had the cartoon dogs.
It's the worst.
the only commercial I
Maybe.
ever
I don't
remember.
remember Dogpile's
Anyway.
mascot, actually.
Ryan, you're up. What's another search engine?
I actually am at a loss now. Well, like the big ones count too, like Yahoo.
Yahoo, 1995. Definitely one of the
That's
strongest pre-Google
I would
pre-Google
have
brands.
said don't use that one.
It's a 90s one, and it just can't be Googled. That's really
It
the
was
only
great.
rules
It was
here.
archived. It was indexed by humans.
Yes, exactly.
Word for that?
It was the one. Did you guys ever watch Halt and Catch Fire?
No.
Yes.
You did watch
I
that?
watched a couple
American?
episodes, but I stopped. 'Cause it
Oh
was
well,
annoying.
later in the series, it becomes about search engines, and
Just side note, actually, the real reason I stopped watching that show is because I Googled it and I found out that it was just all a made up story and nothing in it was real, and it pissed me off because I was like, why wouldn't you just find a real? I
it
don't know,
was
that
like
annoyed
it
me.
was like
I don't know why.
inspired by.
I didn't want to watch a fake story about.
One thing did annoy me about that *Halt and Catch Fire* show. For those of you who don't know, it was a show that followed these guys and gals that were part of the like tech boom starting in the '80s, and it followed them. And I'll explain what the show was by also explaining the thing that irritated me about the show, which is it sort of had this like Forrest Gump problem. You know what I mean by that? Like Forrest Gump.
Like everything happened.
Yeah, everything
They met
just so
everybody.
happened.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump was always in the right place at the right time, and he was involved in everything. He just happened to be there. That's sort of
Yeah,
what
They'd
the
like
show-
making
show.
coffee and they'd be
Yeah.
like, they'd find a note, like a napkin, and it would be like, oh look, this is
Secret
Steve
formula.
Wozniak's design for the Apple computer.
Yeah, yeah, like
I'll put this in my pocket.
like
This
they
is a good
invented the
memento.
first laptop. They also invented Google and Yahoo. And they called it
really?
something
Jeez.
else. They called it something else, but then they also invented online MMOs, and
This sounds super annoying.
it was a really good
right.
show if you could just shut that part of your. It was hard to shut that part of your brain off.
I also didn't like the pacing of it. It was very like, let's just keep it rolling.
It got a little weird. The thing that actually I really loved about that show was how matter of fact they were. There were characters in there that were like polysexual, and sexuality issues and gender issues were. But they didn't highlight them. They were just matter of fact. They were just part of the show, and it was one of the first shows I'd ever saw that made it a part of the show, but didn't make it like a central focus. It was just there. It was just, like any
that's
other.
cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
liked that. So
into
there's two
that.
more. There's two more. EJ, and you're up.
You want me to just knock them out? I bet I know them both.
Well,
All right, web crawler.
Web crawler was one of them. 1994. Of all still surviving search engines, web crawler is the oldest. Today it aggregates results from Google and Yahoo.
Google's not one of them, is it?
No, it's not, because it was search engines that rocked before Google even existed.
All right.
So there's one more.
Wolfram Alpha is too late, so it's gonna be like Monster or something
hold
like
on.
that.
wait a minute. We got web crawler, Lycos.
I'll pull a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and I'll make sure you tell me if this is your final answer.
Oh no, I know Wolfram Alpham's wrong, and I can't remember what the monster one is.
Oh come on, you got this, EJ. What is it? Oh,
I will say I'd never heard of this one.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I give up. I give up for the sake of time.
Ryan?
You give up, Ryan?
No, I said.
Okay,
wrong.
Ryan shut down.
That
I
means
said Wolfram Alpha. I knew it was wrong.
the last one was Excite, 1995.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Excite.
Okay. Yeah.
That's,
Excite. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'd never heard of this one before. One of the most recognizable brands. Well, apparently not by me. Back in the 90s, but it's since fallen out of the spotlight.
I remember Excite. That was actually a big one. That was like a How the Mighty Have Fallen situation.
Yep.
Huh.
That was. I say yep, but I've already admitted that I don't know.
Yeah, you had no idea what it is.
You know why I remember all this stuff? There's two reasons. One is they like spent so much money on advertising back then.
Yeah.
You were just inundated with their ads, all these like search engines. But also, when you had to research something back then, you actually had different options. It was nice. Like, and they would have like different strengths and weaknesses. Like Yahoo was human index. And it was like like kind of going to the library and asking a librarian a question. You know, you have a little bit of it's kind of like somebody you could kind of rely on. And I remember that was really cool because it was my first go-to thing. It's kind of like looking in the Encyclopedia Britannica or something.
Yeah, you could go onto Yahoo and you could click on like topics like sports or something, you know, and it wasn't like Google is now. It's not just like searching for keywords that have to do with sports. It was some people in the sports team at Yahoo who had curated a list of websites
that's the word I've been trying to think of.
That you would find if you're looking for sports. These are the websites they have found for you.
Bespoke
and
searches.
it was really cool too because you didn't just search, you also could browse. Like you could literally click sports and then it would be like football, baseball, hockey. You click baseball and then it would be like the different teams, and you can find all these different websites that way through that experience. And just that doesn't even, there's nothing like that anymore. Right. And then I mean, I guess there's probably something like that, but I don't
think so. Not really.
And then like they all had their different strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
And so if you had to answer a question, like you had all these different resources you could use, and you had all these different strategies you could try. So I used them all, you know. But now we just have Google, and it's awful, and nobody even knows how Google works because they keep it a dark secret because they don't want people to. It's like, God, capitalism is just destroys everything.
Yeah. Dorian Sapien says this music isn't suspenseful enough. It's actually kind of apropos because it's
This wasn't a very suspenseful.
Well, no, because the music is it's the theme music from Nick Arcade, which was also big in the 90s. So.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get copyright striked, huh?
No, because we're talking loud enough and it's quiet enough. I'm hoping.
I can't hear it.
Having said that, I just turned it off. How about we go try to
go? That's another one.
Here, let's do this again because I want to.
Everybody, do the
I did it
robot.
quieter that time. So tell me about you.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing a thing. So I've been playing a lot of this. Has nothing to do with beaches, guys. Or maybe it will. Speaking of beaches, we like to play games at beaches like volleyball, but you can't play some of my favorite games, which are on the computer. What's your favorite computer game, Ryan?
Wow, you need to let me handle the transitions from now on, Bob. I volunteer.
Not actually, the game I'm about to talk about.
I remember when I played Final Fantasy VII. I believe it was.
You're stealing his thunder, Ryan.
Excite.
What do you want to? What do you want to talk about?
Excite. Oh, I'm trying to transition properly, Bob, because you fouled it.
He was doing okay.
Sorry.
I'm the one that's the most okay of off-topic stuff, so I'm okay with what's going on.
No, it's fine.
No, like 7 is what people know. 6 is what people know.
Would you say that it's a fantasy of yours that we go off topic, Ryan?
No. So Final Fantasy 14 is an MMO.
I'm just
you
flexing my
might know
transition.
about it. I know. That's why
I did hear about it. Last time I heard about it was, I think it came out while we were still in college, and there were two.
FFMMO?
No, that's 11.
That was 11.
Yes, the previous one.
Yeah, because that's the last one I really remember, and I guess I'd heard of 14, but I guess I kind of melded the two of them in my head. I do remember there were two factions in our dorm. There was the World of Warcraft players, us, and there were the Final Fantasy MMO players.
Exactly.
Wait,
And
hold
so-
on. Is it your fault that I've never heard of this Final Fantasy MMO? Apparently been out for decades.
No,
Is it
it's
you two's
not been
fault
out for
because all you ever
decades.
talked about was World of Warcraft? I know, but I never heard of it.
I mean, you don't really follow MMOs?
I mean, do you
But
really?
I thought I'd heard of the big ones.
How can
hear
it be our
about
fault?
Wildstar
It's your-
Ultimate Online, EverQuest, World
Those
of
are all
Warcraft,
super old.
EVO.
Let's be honest. It's your fault for using us, relying on us to be your world of your video game news outlet.
We're not video
I
game
mean-
journalists.
Yeah.
when real-time strategies died.
Oh, those were the
That's
days,
when I
weren't they? Of
stopped
LAN
paying attention to
partying,
video
Red Alert, like Command and
Yeah.
Conquer Red Alert. Oh,
Ugh, I hate
Those are the
RTSs.
best.
I always
You're the
lost.
problem with everything.
You haven't
Ryan.
known
But
about
go
this
on,
game
continue.
since 2010. So it's only been 9 years you've not known about this game, not 19 or whatever. So this was gonna be the sequel to 11, which you remember from college, Bobby, not American, which was like 02-ish. People still play that game, but people still play EverQuest. So whatever, people are crazy. But this, when they first came out of it in 2010, it was atrocious. It was so bad that people it was basically unplayable. It was bad combat, bad zones, bad everything. And this is what I basically want to talk about. They had 2 years where they just got dunked on by everybody.
And are we still talking about 11 though?
14 now, sorry. So
Oh,
when
okay.
14 was made, it was
So
made
many Final Fantasy.
so badly that it got 30. PC Gamer gave it 30, IGN gave it 5.5, Metacritic was giving it a 49. It was just
Wow.
critically panned. There was nothing to do, there was nothing going on. This game was dead on arrival basically. And what
Was
I'm
this
talking
before
about,
or after we had ethics in game journalism, though?
this was before. And what's so crazy about this is that they got a guy who's never directed a game ever in his life, and he turned it around and recreated the game from the ground floor into Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn in only 2 years.
On his own? He did it by himself?
No, he had a whole team, but he's never directed anything before, and he was also
okay.
doing the main main story quests, stuff like that. He drove them in the right direction that was completely alien to what was already built. And it's just this doesn't happen when in media in general, when something fails, you don't make another one of them, and you definitely don't
Right.
take the skeleton and rip it apart and then graft on a better a better exosuit or whatever. It's just
Why would we be efficient with our resources?
well, and
How did his
part of
guy?
it also
How did this
Oh, go
guy
on.
get the job?
he was in
he had to write a resume.
he was in the industry
He
and
probably had to find a job post.
Resume.
yeah.
It's weird. It has diacritical markers in it. Don't even worry about that word.
He was in
Just
Square
call it
Enix.
Was that
already,
a
so,
linguistics joke?
I mean, it was a hash mark thing joke. Yeah. No, he was already in the industry. He just didn't never have a director's job. He was doing
Okay.
other parts of.
I just kind of hope I was just kind of
he
hoping
wasn't
he was
just, a guy
the
in the
mail
street.
guy,
It was-
like he was in the
It
mail
wasn't
room.
you're a really good football player, not one of those things. It wasn't
We need somebody
really
to
like-
redesign
No,
our
I
Final
thought
Fantasy
I thought maybe
game.
he wheeled in the mail to the pitch meeting they were having and they were trying or the design meeting and everybody's wringing their hands and hairs standing on end and they're like, I don't know how to
here's-
solve this problem. The quests just aren't flowing properly. And then
No. It's like the producers.
They weren't flowing
It's
properly.
like they were trying to. They wanted it to fail so they could do some kind of short sell or something. They're like, we just got to get some loser who's never even produced a video game before.
Or maybe it was a bet
They'll
between
ruin it.
two old rich video game producers, in trading places.
I'll bet anybody could design a world class video game with it's like My Fair Lady.
With proper training
game
and
developer.
diction.
Harold. There's no way.
Well, I'll
And then
show
the mail
you.
cart rolls in, or the coffee boy. I got your coffee, Mister.
Yeah. Boy, come here, you.
Really?
Here,
Boy,
I'll
boy.
hold on a second. I'll help a bit because he goes by Yoshi P.
What's your name, boy?
Yoshi
My name is
P.
Yoshi P. Yoshi P. Oh, let's have a chat, my friend. And
Would
he's
you like me to
taking-
shine your shoes, sir? All right.
You're a wonderful dinosaur.
All right. This bit's dead. Continue on, Ryan.
Sorry.
Actuality,
Go
he
Yoshi,
did
yes.
actually. He loved games. He loved MMOs. So like he ended up being a really good fit. But the whole thing is that like it's impossible. Like it's just I don't know how to explain how goofy it is that they.
Yeah, because
they did
you say that in 2010 it was terrible, and you agree.
No, the whole world agreed.
Right. So, but you play this game now, I know, and you play it a
Yeah.
lot. So, so you're speaking from the heart that something amazing happened.
Oh no,
right?
yeah. And, like I wasn't there for like the server shut off. So like they did this whole thing, which is really cool. Like in the lead up to 2012, when they were shutting off the servers, they made a whole quest. Like Yoshi P had his input, and I was expecting you guys to laugh at that, but you didn't. And he's like, "Can I use this moon?" He's like, "Yeah, okay." And then like they just made this storyline about like the bad guys trying to fucking like just crash the moon onto
Like Chairface Chippendale.
like Legend of Zelda.
I was about to say
but yeah.
he straight stole that from Majora's Mask.
It kind of is, but like they just did this like event that has kept on building up, and they started like people didn't know what was going on. Like no one
It's like
knew
24.
except for like only the people that were running it at Square Enix. So everyone's like, "This is a good thing. This is a bad thing." And then it kept on getting closer and closer. Monsters started happening. There was new quests, and then they shut off the server.
Whoa.
And after that, immediately after they shut it off, they put a trailer up with like a cool cinematic of basically this thing coming down and blowing the hell out of everything.
That's straight up
Oh, I
good marketing
see.
right there.
It's
Wow.
really, 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 really interesting. Like,
Yeah.
and like the way that you as a character get moved into the realm reborn is that like the lead guy that was helping you, Lusso, I think you say, it's a Frenchy kind of. It has that like several vowels and an X on the end, it's like Lusso or something
Right.
like that. But like
That's how you
he's like
pronounce
he uses his power to send you 5 years into the future, and I just hit my mic. Sorry, 5 years into the future, and then like you just in the cutscene you just pop out there, and it's like, oh yeah, this is 5 years later after the calamity.
Oh wow.
Huh.
And it's just this really interesting way of like, and they had all these issues of like using the skeleton of the previous system where they were stuck using like hardware and software like archaic things that they had to deal with because this is also on PlayStation 3 still. And so there's all these things that they work around while like making a better story, and they somehow did it. And
It sounds really interesting. I'm afraid
As I
because
was going to say, as cool as this sounds, I think, Bobby, is this what you're about to say? I'm sorry, I cut you off, but I want to see if this is what you're about to say, if we're on the same level here.
go.
I could never get into this because it sounds like there's so much, like I've missed too much of it, so I could never jump in. You know what I'm saying?
See, but like all I've talked about doesn't exist anymore. You didn't miss any. It just doesn't exist anymore. Like
Oh,
it's,
really?
This was a
like,
hard
You,
reboot.
you start at that cinematic, and that's it.
Well, yeah.
No, what I
there's
was
like-
gonna say is
There's
I'm
no
afraid
lore
that you're
references to the.
No, yeah, it's lore, but like that's.
that I'm afraid
already
that
got
you're convincing me that I should check this game out.
Oh,
You should,
that's not.
but
what
I'd
I was
try
gonna
harder to convince you if I could.
I wish.
say. Well, why can't you? Why can't you
Because
try
he's
harder?
not. He didn't have time.
You've
to play
tried as hard as you
MMOs.
can.
No, I'm not good. No,
tried
he has
out.
children. He plays another MMO already.
yeah, and I'm in like
I
a
guess there's still
guild and I do
summertime.
raiding, but you know what? We're kind of getting close to the end of a raid tier, and
This
I'm
game's
probably
better.
gonna take a break for a while. And my
free to
guild,
play
a lot
for
of
a while
people on
anyway.
my guild play this game too.
Mhm.
I
It's
don't
just
know.
It is the
Like-
Final Fantasy, the final one.
that's
like
also
the
scary
oldest
though.
Dad joke.
It's the 11th Final Fantasy. Well, I'm sorry.
It's the
Okay.
14th.
I'm an
Final
old
Fantasy.
person, so I make old jokes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, yeah. It's just like if someone says Final Fantasy,
don't know what else-
someone makes that joke. No, it's okay. It's okay. Like I,
I mean,
got what I
don't know-
wanted to
don't know
say.
anything else
Like,
about Final Fantasy. There's a big sword. That's the only other thing I know about Final Fantasy. I'm working with what I got here. There's a big
Seven.
Cloudbuster
Yes.
sword.
yeah,
Is
it's
it?
a Buster
no.
sword. Yes,
It's not-
you're
I gotta
you're
use
there.
my.
it was
Oh,
wielded
wow.
by Cloud, right?
Yes,
Cloud.
he was there. That was good enough.
Cloud.
I did actually play Final Fantasy VII like long
Do you
ago,
remember
so-
when we used to like hang out and and at Ryan's house, we'd sleep over there, and we'd wake up in the morning, and I would get up at like 7:30 in the morning and play Final Fantasy.
I don't, because I was probably the last one to wake up.
because everybody was asleep. It was that was my point. I was
only
always
played
an
Final
old
Fantasy
person
VII,
waking up.
and I played it on my computer, which meant I had to mess with all the MIDI, like all these different MIDI options. Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
there's mods for it
You'd
now.
have like
Makes it a
different
lot
MIDI,
easier.
like instrument packs.
Mhm.
I remember that because Final Fantasy came with this awesome like Yamaha MIDI interface thing.
Could you
It was
have
really
all
cool.
the music played by like organs or like
Yeah, you could do all that was the thing.
like circus
I
clown
bought Final Fantasy
horns?
VII. I bought it for like $10 or $15, like way late. Like it was like an old game at that time.
Yeah.
But it came with this Yamaha MIDI software that was way cooler than Final Fantasy VII, and I used that for years. I remember like every time I got a new computer for like 3 or 4 years, I would get my Final Fantasy VII CD out and install the Yamaha MIDI drivers. It was a different time.
Yeah, quite
It'd be
a
like,
different time.
it'd be like, do you want to install Final Fantasy VII or whatever, and I'd be like, no, fuck Final Fantasy VII. I'm installing Yamaha MIDI drivers.
Well,
I don't know why I would
I'll
just murder
I'll
people
encapsulate this.
Okay,
The changes
sorry,
they
I'm
made
way off.
in like a 2-year dev cycle, which normally takes 5 to like 8 years, made them go from like 5.5 to 8.6, 30 to 79, 49 to 86. Like scores doubled and tripled across the board in terms of like immediately. It's just
So
it's
Yoshi
a-
P won the day.
like actually yes, him and a guy called Toby Fox, but we're not going to talk about the translator.
Toby Fox.
That's a story for another time.
A way to create suspense and get people coming back to the show next week, because you know what? It's time for this.
Lightning round. Which Mortal Kombat character's powers would you like to possess?
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero. You just want to freeze everyone?
That's the
What are you going to say? Scorpion? You just want to stab everyone?
Raiden is a literal lightning god.
Oh, you just want to lightning everyone?
You know what? I think when I was 20 years old, I would have gone with like Raiden, but
Oh, thanks.
now I just want to be Scorpion. No, I'm just saying, as I'm getting older,
You
I
want
want
to
to
be
be
a
just
skeleton
Scorpion.
man that spits fire out of his face?
No, I just want to have that thing. So if there's like a thing all the way on the other side of the room and I want it, I can just be like, get over here.
Yeah.
Do you remember the movie? How it was a super creepy, like
my
living thing?
shoes.
Yeah, like a
Oh, yeah,
mouth.
I did.
I don't know any of the modern ones. The last Mortal Kombat I played was, I think, 2.
It's the same people.
Well, there's new
I would
people.
just be like-
There's a lot more,
I've seen
sure.
people talking about it all over Twitter lately.
How can anyone keep track of all those special
I would have-
combos?
I would have Johnny Cage's power, the power of movie
Being
star.
a normal. Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
The power of
I just
that.
I mean, he does
For
take off
for
his glasses
podcast
for
people, I
listeners.
just took off my glasses dramatically and stared
yeah.
at the camera.
Is that Johnny Cage's power? He has perfect.
Yeah, but he
vision.
wears sunglasses. He doesn't
Yeah.
wear dumb glasses.
I guess probably he puts them on and then stares at the
He
sun.
does both. Sure.
like it's rated with the power of lightning and Scorpion, a living skeleton, and Johnny Cage, who doesn't have to wear glasses.
All right, anyway, guys, that music you hear in the background means that that's it for the show. So as you know, this week's theme was beaches, and it turned out better than I thought it would.
Really?
Are you saying it turned out bad, or are you saying that I
No,
had
you're not
two?
supposed to keep on going.
Brian's
It's okay.
making
Okay,
the show already.
you're right. If you want to vote on the show's future themes, then you need to head on over to our Discord server. We'll have the poll up. That's go to jbyc.net/discord or click on the Discord link. We'll have it there. That'll get you in. Next week's theme's already been decided by the community. It's going to be cats and the internet ? So send us your
Meow.
news, stories, topics, prompts, and anything you want us to talk about having to do with that. You can send them to all sorts of places. You can find our email and Twitter at jbyc.net. Watch us live on YouTube at youtube.com/jbyc show every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, or listen to the podcast wherever you get your dang old podcasts.
Which you might be right now.
Yeah, you might be listening to it on the podcast, in which case we suggest you guys watch it live. Like, just mix it up a little bit.
YouTube it.
Yeah,
YouTube it.
yeah, mix it up.
I'm not gonna do it.
YouTube it.
If you're listening live, we're gonna quit the show, but we always have an after party for a little while, so so hang out. And I forget every time what EJ is raising his finger for and getting ready to do. So yeah, I know what it is. So you you come hang out, because guess what? We have to find out what's going to go on that poll we just mentioned to find out how we're going to decide what the next show is going to be. And the way we decide is...
You decide.
That's right. That's the best one we've done so far. So come on, hang out with us for a little while. We're going to get that together. And if you didn't make it this time, then come on next time. Tell all your friends about the show, and we'll talk to you later. See ya, guys.
Come on down now, you hear?
Over there. Oh, I was doing a Johnny Cage impression.
You know.
What does Johnny Cage sound like?